Well, hello everyone. Today we're going to look at two of the most common difficulties when it comes to prayer. So we're looking at the battle of prayer. We saw that there are forces in the world, the flesh, the devil, that don't want us to experience this communing of love with the Lord in prayer. And so prayer becomes a battle. And often this battle is fought over these two main difficulties: distraction and dryness. So we're going to look at those two temptations when it comes to our life of prayer. So to start with distraction, here is what the Catechism says. The habitual difficulty in prayer is distraction. It can affect words and their meaning in vocal prayer. It can concern more profoundly him to whom we are praying in vocal prayer, liturgical or personal, meditation, and contemplative prayer. To set about hunting down distractions would be to fall into their trap, when all that is necessary is to turn back to our heart. For a distraction reveals to us what we are attached to. And this humble awareness before the Lord should awaken our preferential love for Him and lead us resolutely to offer Him our heart to be purified. Therein lies the battle, the choice of which master to serve. So just to say it outright, every single person experiences distraction in prayer. There's not a single person on this earth who, when they go to pray, does not experience distraction. So it's normal. It is not a sign that you are bad at prayer or that there's something wrong with you. Distraction just means that you're human. And yet, we know that distraction in prayer can lead us to be discouraged. It can lead us to maybe even stop praying. But the Catechism shows a lot of wisdom today, where it says, as those distractions come up, we shouldn't try to find the source of each one. Because what that's going to do is just distract us further from the goal of prayer, right? Which is friendship with God. So I like to think of distractions like flies. If you're having a conversation with somebody, there might be a fly going around your face. What do, right? You just swat it away and you go back to the person. The fly comes back, swat it away, go back to the person. Is the fly annoying? Yes. Should it stop you from having that conversation? No. So, in the same way, distractions are annoying, certainly, but we should swat them away and go back to the Lord. When they come back, swat them away and go back to the Lord. If that distraction is persistent, the Catechism tells us that maybe that's a sign of an attachment. So if I, for example, am in prayer and I keep thinking about this thing coming up in work, this project or this relationship at work, and it just keeps coming to me and keeps coming to me, that might be a sign that my heart is particularly attached to that thing. And maybe that can be something I bring to prayer, to ask the Lord to remove that attachment so that I can have greater freedom to love Him. So distractions are simply part of prayer, but the key is to swat them away and go back to the relationship. And that effort of just going back to the Lord, that's so fruitful. And so maybe at the end of prayer, it feels like a waste of time because we were so distracted. But as long as we don't give up and we stay focused on the goal, then it's time well spent. The second main temptation in prayer is dryness in prayer. So here's what the Catechism says about dryness. Another difficulty, especially to those who sincerely want to pray, is dryness. Dryness belongs to contemplative prayer when the heart is separated from God with no taste for thoughts, memories, and feelings, even spiritual ones. This is the moment of sheer faith, clinging faithfully to Jesus in his agony and in his tomb. Unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it bears much fruit. If dryness is due to the lack of roots because the word has fallen on rocky soil, the battle requires conversion. So I'll say it again. Every single person on this planet who tries to pray will at times experience dryness. There will be seasons of prayer when you go to pray and you don't feel anything. God seems distant. It can seem like a minute of prayer feels like an hour of prayer. It's almost agonizing to have to sit there. It's like you're in the desert and there's no water, but you're so thirsty, but there's nothing to drink. Again, that is simply a normal part of our life of prayer. And again, in the battle of prayer, it can be easy to become discouraged at the dryness, to become exhausted in the dryness, and to give up prayer. But giving up prayer is never the answer. So dryness in prayer can actually lead to greater conversion, as the Catechism tells us. Dryness is a way of really testing ourselves to say, do I love God or do I love the good feelings I might have in prayer? Can I still go to pray and love God even if there are no good feelings, even if I don't feel anything, even if it's just dryness and darkness? To still have that preference for Jesus, to say, no, I love Jesus more than I love consolations in prayer. And so I'm going to persevere through the dryness. Or, maybe if I'm experiencing dryness and I'm honest with myself, I can say, actually, lately I've been gossiping and I've been lying to people and there's strife in relationships, and the dryness might draw attention to those failures in living a life of virtue. And maybe the conversion is like, hey, this dryness might be a sign that I got to get my life in order so that I can come to the Lord with a pure heart and a clean conscience. So there are different reasons why dryness might come, but usually it's just that normal part of prayer. There's going to be hills where we experience joy and consolation, and there's going to be valleys when we experience dryness and darkness. But again, the key is to persevere. So, distractions will happen and dryness will happen, but neither of them are excuses to give up in our prayer. In the battle of prayer, it's that daily showing up, it's that daily perseverance that will eventually win the fight.